morning. Welcome back to Nate and Sitka Outdoors. Got a pretty exciting day today for myself. I'm picking up something this afternoon for the channel, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. But first, I'm going to, I'm obviously at work. I've got to do a quick fuel run out to the island, so I'll briefly show that. Kind of explain what goes into it. First, when we get to the boat in the morning, I've got to do oil checks, engine checks, right? I go down in the engine room, make sure the oil's good, make sure there's no leaks, make sure there's no issues of any kind before I start this boat up, right? And then I come up to the top up here and fire this thing up. And I'm hoping that this new audio, hopefully this sounds better. We'll see. Anyway, so from here what I do is I check, which I've already done, but I'll check the current as in the tides, which for today I use an app called Tides, and it gives me a readout of what it looks like for my local area automatically. So right now it's at 3.27 and falling. It's going down to a negative 1.1 today. And then at around 10 o'clock, it's going to start flooding again, start coming in, and it's going to go up to an 8. So I'll check the tides, right? The other thing I will check is the weather. So today we've got a little bit of wind. It's blowing 26 knots out of the west. And yeah, we're blowing 26 knots out of the west, which you can see right here. I use an app called, this is an app called Wind Alert, and it's pretty accurate, right? It's not the best thing in the whole world, but it does pretty good. And I can click on my local station, and it'll give me a readout for the day. We've got a gale warning for today. It's just going to get breezy, and it'll kind of give me a readout of what it's going to look like throughout the day. So this afternoon's going to get a little windier. Nothing too crazy, right? It's got a graph of what the gusts are looking like. Looks like it was gusting almost 40 earlier. And I don't know if you can see that, but... So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit windy, but that's the name of the game. So anyway, follow along. And like I said, I'm gonna make it kind of short with this, the boat side of things. But this afternoon, I'm going to pick up something kind of exciting, which is going to make things fun for my camping side of things. So anyway, follow along. The other thing I do, which I forgot to mention every morning, is I turn my radio to channel 5, which is Seattle traffic, so that I can hear what vessels are doing what in the area, which I'm going to do right now, because it's nice to know who's coming and going. The other thing that I'll do, which isn't quite up yet, it's starting, is I have AIS, which will tell me, well, matter of fact, it'll show me who is in my general location, who's in my general location, where they're going, what direction they're going, what speed they're going, speed over ground, you know, what I can click on that particular target and it will tell me my CPA, which is my distance from that vessel when at any crossing moment. It's very handy equipment to have, and especially on foggy days, right? A couple months here, it'll start getting pretty foggy. I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. All right, so this is what my AIS system looks like, and you can see there's targets here, and I can click on these targets. Oh. Well, it's still updating, but in a second here it'll give me the name of the vessel, course over ground, speed over ground, their bearing, our CPA, all those things. It's pretty handy. The best thing is it gives me the names of that vessel, which is very convenient for me, so I don't have to guess and say, hey, random boat in such and such an area, this is the, you know, anyway, so yeah, we're gonna get underway here and get moving. So when it's blown out of the west, I have to kind of back out of here quick because it'll set me onto my sister ship here. So yeah, just gotta back out of here real fast and get moving. The other thing I have to take into account before landing at our barge landing here in Anacortes is we're not the only barge. We're not the only barge company. There are several others that are using that ramp. So thankfully, we're all friends. So we all communicate and discuss who's going to be there at what time. And we make it work that way so they're not piling up boats and piling up stuff up in the loading zone, you know, blocking everybody and holding up traffic and everything else. You know, it works out really well. Thankfully, we're all friends, and you know, that's the name of the game. So yeah, we've only got so much space, and if you start throwing stuff into it that is not planned on or that we're aware of, it can kind of mess things up for the other 4 barge companies that are out here, right? So yeah. So what I'm taking into account here is obviously the current and the wind, which is pushing the boat in, you know, different directions. And the other thing I've got to note is I don't want to come up too high on the ramp because this truck weighs a significant amount and I don't want to get stuck on the ramp, right? So what I'm taking into account here is the buoyancy of the vessel based on the weight of the truck. And I give my driver a wave, and here he comes. And his job is to keep the truck in the center of the vessel as much as possible. Especially on windy days, it's kind of a big deal. And I have to kick up power to the boat to make sure that he doesn't push me back, right? So if we start going, I'll hit my horn and stop him so that they're heavy enough and their brakes are strong enough to where they could push us back out into the water, which would cause a whole lot of issues. So we work well together. Ken has been doing this for, I don't know, 20 years, maybe longer. But once the truck has its tires on the ramp, it'll no longer push me back, so I can slow down and just kind of watch him do his thing. And I'll go down and guide him.
Operator traffic ready, thank you.
So one thing I wanted to clear up real quick, in my last video, there was a couple of times where I went down on deck really quick to give everybody an angle of what it looks like from down there, right? During the day, on normal operations, we don't do that, right? I stay up in my wheelhouse. You know, if I need to go down on deck for whatever reason, I'll have to take it out of gear or whatever. But I want to make it very clear that that day, it was just for the videography, and I was not moving very fast. I slowed the boat down and made sure there was nobody coming. There was nobody in the general area. Nothing was happening. that was that. So if I made it look like that's what we do on a normal basis, it is not. We sit up here and this is what we do, right? It's kind of like being a truck driver. We drive, you know, that's just what it is. So, you know, that's the name of the game. We do this all by ourselves, and yeah, works out great. So sometimes I got to go down on deck to do something real fast, but very, very rarely does that take place. So I want to make that clear. So there's some concerns. So yeah.